Wandern lieb ich für mein Leben, lebe eben wie ich kann. Wollt ich mir doch Mühe geben, passt es mir doch gar nicht an.
Dear Diary, so much has happened since I've last spoken to you. I shall now update you and tell you everything that has happened in my life, including my deepest and darkest of secrets. As I was going about my usual activities, one of which included measuring the length of each strand of my hair, I felt a pair of gentle eyes watching me. I turned around only to see that these eyes belonged to a little bird that had perched itself quite comfortably on my windowsill. This bird had the most unusual appearance. It was covered with velvet-like blue feathers, and upon taking a closer look, I noticed that some of its feathers were fluorescent. How remarkable. It is not often one sees a bird that glows in the dark. It even had a few feathers missing from the top of its head. Perhaps it lost it in some sort of battle. I couldn't help but stare and admire this handsome bird. It must have belonged to some rare species of bird that was believed to be extinct, for I had never seen a bird as exquisite as this before. Days passed, and this lovely creature would continually watch me with its gentle eyes, and soon I incorporated its visits into my daily routine. Then one day, this bird opened its beak and started to sing. Oh dear diary, I was so surprised. Never have I heard such lovely singing before. This bird's singing emanated from deep within its soul. Happiness is something that is so foreign to me. But I, Anastasia, actually felt so happy to hear such soft, glorious, melodic tweets. I tried to open my window so that I could touch this handsome bird or even let it fly in my room a bit. But the window was rusty and jammed shut. I tried very hard to pry this windowsill open with this metal crowbar, but it just wouldn't budge. But the bird never stopped visiting me and would faithfully perch itself on my windowsill and flood my eardrums with beautiful song. What a lovely tweet this sweet songbird had. I soon developed an unusual bond with this bird and regarded it as my special friend. And we all know that Anastasia hardly has very special friends. So this sweet songbird was truly special to her. One day, the little bird stopped singing. I dropped all my activities and ran to the windowsill to see if someone had harmed my sweet songbird. The bird was motionless, and as I looked closer, I saw a little tear in those gentle eyes of it. Why do you not want to sing to me anymore, my darling? Why? I asked the songbird. The bird ignored me, and to my surprise, swiftly turned around and flew off into the sky without even bidding me goodbye. The abruptness of this bird's departure struck me like a rock smashed on my head. That is how stunned I was. Can you imagine that, dear diary? A rock smashed on your head. Come back, little bird, I shouted. But still the bird kept on flying. I then realized that it was the window that had discouraged the bird. We were close together, but still separated at the same time. Without hesitation, I smashed the window with my metal crowbar. The unpleasant sound of shattering glass is something that made my ears feel so sore. Nevertheless, I climbed out of the window and stood barefoot on the ledge that was now covered with broken glass. My feet started to bleed, but I did not care because I wanted my sweet songbird back. The bird was still visible in the sky. Why have you abandoned me? Why have you abandoned me? This I screamed 10 times, each shout louder than the last one until my voice was hoarse. The bird paid no heed to my desperate shouts and flew on its own way without even looking behind. The feeling of abandonment gnawed my insides. The thought of this songbird perching on the windowsills of others and singing into the ears of others made me cringe with bitter anger. This songbird belonged to me, and the only windowsill that it is allowed to sit on is mine. To put it simply, if I cannot have this songbird, then no one can have the privilege of this bird perching on their windowsill. Preparing a poisonous bait is a very enjoyable process. I obtained the most succulent of fresh fruit and injected each fruit with sweet poison. I took the highest quality bird seed and mixed it and blended it with a silky, powdery poison. The poison was not concentrated enough to kill, but enough to render the songbird unconscious. Once unconscious, I planned to cut its wings off with my new pointy scissors. And we all know, a wingless bird can never abandon me again. And as a double precaution, I plan to lock this wingless creature in a cage I had recently acquired. Now this songbird can sing for me and me alone. Oh dear diary. I felt so proud of myself. What an elaborate, ingenious plan I, Anastasia, had constructed. I placed all the freshly prepared bait on my windowsill and waited in eager anticipation for this creature's arrival. While waiting, I stared at my new, shiny, pointy scissors and imagined all sorts of angles to cut this bird's wings off with. Just when I had decided that a 45-degree angle would be most appropriate, I looked at my reflection in the blade of the scissors and wondered, how could I imprison the one thing that made me feel so free? I started to doubt my actions. I had killed and tortured many before, during my days in Siberia, but that was different. I had to kill those ugly humans because their mission was to imprison me. If I captured this bird, then I would be no different than those humans who tried to make me their slave. I felt ashamed of myself. How could I have come up with such a foolish plan? I disposed of all the bait, cleaned my windowsill, and even placed a flower pot on it. I miss the sweet songbird, for up to this day it has not come back to me. I still shudder each time that feeling of abandonment passes through me. But how could I, Anastasia, expect to have this bird come back to me? After all, it was I who did have evil thoughts against this bird. It was forced to abandon me, for my cold life will not make a good home for it. And we all know that tropical birds survive best in warmth and sunshine. But at least I still have fond memories of this sweet songbird. In fact, its melodic tweets play in my head every day, like a magical record player that never stops. During my days in the Siberian prison, there used to be an old rusty plaque that hung on the wall that read, "If you love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, it is yours. If it does not, it never was." I never did like that saying, but the only way I will know if it's true is when I am lying on my deathbed. And if that sweet songbird does decide to come back to me, then at least I can die knowing that it did belong to me. Anastasia.
Mag dir Gott ein Mann bescheren, wohl mit 1000 Hochversehen. Wenn wir zwei zusammen wären, möcht mein Singen mir vergehen.